the CBC Morning Report for today, Monday, July 24th. I'm Tisha Hines. Good morning. In our top story, the issue of reproductive health and termination rights are under debate around the world. To discuss this situation in Barbados is former head of the Barbados Family Planning Association and a man who continues to be an advocate for the safety of pregnant women. Let's say good morning to Mr. George Griffith.
Hello and good morning to you and all the listeners across Barbados.
Good morning. Good to have you with us. Now, Barbados has been hailed as a beacon of progress, so to speak, when it comes to reproductive rights and gender equality and things of that nature. Is the right to terminate a pregnancy, which falls generally under that heading, an issue now in Barbados?
I would say it still is, and not as forceful as it used to be in the 80s and 90s and so forth, but because across the world and especially in the United States of America, it is still a big issue, and we know that our people in Barbados are sometimes more aware of what is happening in the United States of America than right here in Barbados. That means that our people are still being influenced and being affected.
Can you shed some light on what has been done over the years to foster and create reproductive autonomy then, given that there are some issues that are resurfacing? And as you mentioned, usually people are far more in tune to what's happening in the U.S. than what's happening here in Barbados.
Well, I'm happy to say that 40 years ago, in fact, this year, 1983, the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act was established in Barbados, and this came after a long struggle. And since then, we have had doctors having the freedom, and of course some NGOs, to access the request of women to terminate an unwanted pregnancy. And I want to say very early that this is a very complex issue, and I've never come across a woman who took it lightly. So the termination of a pregnancy is very complex. But since then, we have had, and I don't think you're old enough to remember, but before 1983, the casualty, as it then was of the QEH, was abuzz with activity on a Monday morning. And that is because in the absence of legislation which made it possible for women to exercise their right to have control over their bodies, then persons in desperation sought to procure the termination of a pregnancy, and very often, in the absence of the legality associated with the act we have now, people resorted to the backstreet abortionists, and some people even drank all kinds of noxious substances and so on. And the result was that they ended up in the casualty department of the QEH, some with severe bleeding, severe infection, and even septicemia. And some people lost their lives in the process. So I'm saying that over time, we have had much progress made. But in recent times, given the far-right red state religious groups in the United States, we have had pockets of persons in Barbados who are picking up the mantle, and they're trying to say to us then that what we did in 1983 was wrong, and that has caused some confusion among some women in Barbados. But I would say, by and large, Barbadians have accepted that it is the fundamental right of a woman to exercise control over her fertility, and we must ensure that this right is never minimized or taken away.
So are Barbadian women having ready access to the advice and other services they need to be able to make these decisions? You mentioned what has obtained in years past. Has the family planning and other such organizations been in a position to offer these services to women who needed the advice?
I cannot speak for the Family Planning Association, but I can tell you, yes, those services are still available. There is counseling and the provision of services and the follow-up. But what has been a game changer is the introduction of the medication termination of pregnancy. Now, this is seen as more convenient for women. For one, It is less invasive in that it is not invasive at all. It is done by medication. It is less expensive, and a woman has a higher level of confidentiality using this method. In fact, women do not lose the kind of days at work and social engagement with this medication. So it has overtaken the traditional termination of pregnancy, which was invasive. And I'm saying that this is a good sign. And I think more women are exercising their right to access termination of an unwanted pregnancy. You know, I've always said that unwanted pregnancy drives abortion. So if a pregnancy is wanted, then you don't have to worry about that. And in order to ensure that a pregnancy is in fact wanted and welcome, we have to make sure that women are educated, that they understand how their bodies function and how they can avoid finding themselves in very difficult circumstances. Sometimes this is unavoidable, but the point is that access to service is available. And I'm happy to say that women in Barbados are quite smart and they're accessing the services and they're beginning to recognize that they have the fundamental right to exercise control over their fertility. And long may that remain.
Now, considering that men are traditionally the policymakers and they truly are stakeholders in what's happening with reproductive health with women, should we consider at this time a more robust approach to teaching our men about their part in reproductive health when it comes to women generally?
I agree wholeheartedly. In fact, a lot of that is being done now. As you know, the Barbados Family Planning Association over the years, in fact, was the first to establish a dedicated clinic for men. And we have had training for men over the years, not only at the association itself, but across the length and breadth of Barbados. And we know that some men can influence women in their decision making. But I'm happy to say that we have some very strong and assertive women in Barbados, and they are not going to easily surrender the right that is theirs. So yes, leading up to the enactment of that legislation, we had some very strong women. Billy Miller, for instance, was one of those women. And Barbadians weighed the options and made what I consider to be the right decision. And we must not allow anyone to beat back the progress that has been made, because some of us still remember what happened, what was happening before 1983.
Under the umbrella of sexual and reproductive health, generally, we heard a few years ago that sexually transmitted diseases were out of control. Have you any idea as to what's the state of STDs in Barbados at this time?
I have not seen the recent figures, but what I am hearing, it would appear as people are not as, in fact, they're more relaxed these days, and especially this season. As you know, it was said some years ago that 9 months after Carnival in Trinidad, there was a spike in births, which suggests to us that Carnival season was a time when people were more liberal with, with their bodies and so on. And the same thing might be happening in Cropover. I'm not saying that Cropover is the cause, but where there is a lot of merriment and the use of alcohol and other mind-altering substances, then a person is likely not to be as in control of their bodies as they would. But I would say that we have to be always mindful, and especially younger people in Barbados today. We have to make sure that the information and education is available. And I'm happy that we have the health and family life education in most schools. But I've always put a plug for comprehensive sexuality education because it is more thorough and it is more effective and it's better able to protect our young people by arming them with information and education and the skill necessary to navigate the very turbulent waters that exist in our society with respect to reproductive health and rights.
Thank you so much, Mr. Griffith. We are profoundly grateful for your time that you've taken to answer our questions this morning. Have a good day.
It was a pleasure and best of luck to you.
That was Mr. George Griffith, former head of the Barbados Family Planning Association. Still to come on the CBC Morning Report, Russia's President Vladimir Putin says Ukraine's counter-offensive to take back land failed. Russia's President Vladimir Putin says Ukraine's counter-offensive to take back land captured by his country has failed, as he hosted his close ally, Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko, for talks in Putin's native city of St. Petersburg. The meeting on Sunday was the first to be held between the two leaders since Minsk helped end a revolt by mercenaries from Russia's Wagner group of fighters.
Presenting a united front. Alexander Lukashenko meeting Vladimir Putin for the first time since he helped end a mutiny by Wagner mercenaries in Russia last month. Belarus is now hosting the group's fighters as part of a deal with their leader Yevgeny Prigozhin.
The Wagner fighters have become a concern. They're asking to let them go west. I'm asking them, why would you do that? And we're quietly keeping tabs on them. They say we just want to, go on a trip to Warsaw and Rzeszów. Rzeszów triggers them. Because when they fought in Bakhmut, they knew where the military hardware was coming from. So they have this feeling that Rzeszów is a problem. Of course, I'm keeping them in central Belarus, like we agreed. And I wouldn't want to redeploy them there, as they're in this bad mood.
The mercenary group's presence in Belarus has seen EU and NATO member Poland send more troops to its eastern border. Poland's former defence minister says his country is prepared.
Belarus doesn't have an army to speak of. NATO is 20 times more powerful than Russia. They shouldn't start anything because they'll lose.
And back to the war in Ukraine, and both leaders putting Kiev's stuttering counter-offensive in the spotlight.
This is a mindless policy of throwing unprepared people and mercenaries into the hellfire. So there's no counter-offensive.
There is one, but it has failed.
It has failed. There are no results.
A visit to the Naval Cathedral of St. Nicholas, a symbolic show of faith, two leaders growing ever closer as the war in Ukraine grinds on.
Japanese restrictions on exports of advanced chip manufacturing equipment took effect on Sunday, in line with U.S.-led efforts to stymie China's ability to develop high-end semiconductors, capable of being used for military purposes and also for mobile phones.
The new rules affect 23 types of advanced semiconductor making equipment. The components power everything from mobile phones to military hardware. Nearly 160 countries now face tighter procedures to buy chip-making equipment from Japan, while 42 countries can still import with fewer controls. Japan produces about 10% of the world's semiconductors, but there are plans to increase it further. The US and China are also in a race to increase their supplies. Sejiro Takeshita is from the School of Management and Information at the University of Shizuoka. He says the new measures are in response to Chinese aggression.
Basically, this is a joint coalition move to ward off further aggression that we're facing, especially in this region from China. Japan is following the move basically to construct what we call the Chip 4, the United States, the Netherlands, and also Japan and Korea joining in to basically formulate a scrum, or I say coalition, against aggression that we're seeing, especially from unitarian states like that of China. The 23 items is basically on micro fabrication. In other words, the high forefront technology side, and certainly not with the legacy of mainstream semiconductors. In other words, they're targeting especially towards the military usage, particularly by the Chinese authorities. So it's not necessarily going to damage everybody's lives, and particularly considering the fact that there could be a supply chain problem that was caused by China, as we saw in the recent COVID-19. What we're trying to do is mitigate possible further supply chain loss from these incidents.
Well, coming up on Morning Barbados today, we're going to be telling you all about the digital summer camp program. We'll update you a little bit more on that. Plus, we're talking how we can help the children transition from primary to secondary school. In addition, we continue our talks on mental health. We look specifically today at how workplaces can work to help promote mental health and wellness in the workplace. And we're going to be telling you about UWI's 60th anniversary activities that will be coming up shortly. And of course, we will be playing the game The Eyes Have It. That's all coming up at 6:30 on Morning Barbados. But next, more news, sports, and weather. Stay with us. Local livestock farmers are battling their share of challenges in the face of soaring temperatures and extremely hot conditions that are forecast to continue into the coming months. Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, gave details about the situation during an interview with CBC.
Livestock farmers are being impacted as a result of the heat conditions. Especially for instance chicken farmers and those farmers who do not have access to say more advanced wind tunnel pens. Of course they would have some issues, and farmers therefore are reminded that especially during this period, first of all, the stocking density of the pens will decrease. So if for instance they are not able to put as many chickens into the pens as is accustomed during the cooler periods of the year.
Political scientist Peter Wickham is happy to see the Integrity in Public Life legislation return to Parliament. This after its predecessor was defeated in the Senate back in 2020. Wickham commends government for its second attempt after the bill passed in the lower house on Friday. But he notes that the bill passing in the upper house is dependent on more than government's enthusiasm.
People assume that because governor has full control of the lower house and for all intents and purposes the upper house, that it will be easy. The bill requires essentially it could infringe on the constitutional provisions, and as a result, it requires full support in both houses. Now, the challenge in relation to the upper house is that the coalition of independent senators would essentially deny government a 2/3 majority that would be needed. My hope is that the independent senators are minded to support it.
Mr. Wickham acknowledges the issues raised regarding the bill, but believes they've neither explained or addressed them.
The bill may in many ways not be perfect. We remember on the last occasion there were some objections from Caswell Franklin about the inclusion of judges. The AG has clarified the extent to which those inclusions are challenging. We have objections from him a second time, even though he doesn't have the right to vote this time, indicating that he has concerns about the blind trust. My understanding is that the blind trust is a relatively well-used facility across the world in terms of managing assets from persons who now go into government.
There are additional assurances this morning. The proposed child protection legislation will not take away the rights of parents and when they have to discipline their children. It's coming from child rights expert Faith Marshall-Harris. She was speaking at an event called Safeguarding Our Children, a conversation hosted by the Barbados Association of Professional Social Workers.
I've heard people be concerned that the definition for verbal abuse is so wide that you will not even be able to say anything to your children. And that's not quite correct. We all know the difference between warning a child about bad behavior and what the consequences would be, and threatening a child and say, I'm going to kill you. As you know, we know the familiar saying, I brought you into this world, I'm going to take you back out of it. What we are saying is that while people have kind of thrown that kind of talk around, that was pretty aggressive talk.
The child rights expert has also been clearing the air about legal rights afforded to children in the proposed legislation.
In fact, in Barbados, by our legal aid legislation, anything to do with a child, there's an entitlement to the parent to have free legal representation. And what we've now included, thanks for reminding me, included in this act is that the child can now have separate free legal representation. This is new because we are also accepting that what the child wants may be different from what the parent wants, and even different from what the Child Protection Agency wants.
Leakages and illegal connections continue to challenge the Guyana Water Incorporated and other water management entities in the Caribbean, resulting in the loss of revenues. Solving this challenge will, however, be a prominent part of discussions at the 32nd Annual Caribbean Water and Wastewater Association Conference and Exhibition, which will be held in Guyana in October of 2023. Newsroom Guyana reports.
The Guyana Water Incorporated is the entity responsible for water management in Guyana, but GWI loses significant revenue annually because more than half of the people who get water from the company have leaking pipes or illegal connections. GWI deems that distribution non-revenue water, according to the body's director for project implementation, Aubrey Roberts.
Our non-revenue water figure is in the region of about 60%. We believe that by the end of this coastal water treatment program, right, we'll be able to bring that down in the region of about 45%.
This problem is one faced across the Caribbean and is among the topics to be discussed at this year's Caribbean Water and Wastewater Association Conference, which will be held in Guyana. Delivering the keynote address at the media launch held at the Marriott Hotel, Georgetown on Friday, Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowe said the government believes the protection and management of water resources will safeguard water security, and he said the conference will help governments tackle regional water woes.
This is an opportunity for us to find solutions that are sustainable, physically achievable, and can be replicated on any scale, strengthen our capacities, and forge new partnerships.
Some 500 regional and Caribbean delegates are expected to participate in the conference. 100 booths will be on display. The conference will also allow representatives and students to present research papers on issues and solutions within the sector. President of the Caribbean Water and Wastewater Association, Marlon Daniels, said for the first time the conference would also include finance ministers so that stakeholders can adequately work out solutions.
Without direct and focused intervention as a region, we will face devastating impacts on our way of life. But the countries within the region are committed via action and results-oriented intervention.
The conference will be held in the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown from October 23 to 27 under the theme Accelerating Change in the Water, Wastewater and Solid Waste sectors.
Time now to take a look at sports. The West Indies face an uphill task to stave off defeat against India in the second and final test at Queen's Park Oval in Trinidad. Chasing 365 for victory, the Windies closed day 4 on 76 for 2, needing 289 more runs for victory on today's final 3 sessions. Chanderpaul is not out on 24 and Blackwood on 20. Earlier, the Windies, resuming on 229 for 5, were eventually bowled out for 255, handing India a lead of 183 runs. The visitors then declared their second innings on 181 for 2, setting the Windies a tough target of 365. Here are the highlights.
Edge. Again, the appeal.
Original decision is not out. Pitching outside off, impact in line, and hitting the wickets, Richard.
Close, and that's a second.
Jomel Warrican has no chance. Out comes the pull shot for Rohit Sharma.
Safely taken.
Catch it. In the air. Joshua De Silva will take the catch, completes the catch. In the air. 2 fielders converging. Neither of them gets there. Previous delivery was his first 6 in Test match cricket. This is his second and brings up his first half century. He's decided that that's enough. Lots of work for the West Indies now.
Very good from Brathwaite.
That's not a high-risk shot. That was right up there, and that is timed to perfection. And the sweep will bring his downfall now to deal with it. Nice. That should be 4.
Excellent shot from Blackwood all along the carpet.
Well, that's today's morning report. Before we go, let's take a look at the weather. The barometric pressure stands at 1014.3 millibars. It's 27.6 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity is at 81%, and the winds are blowing out of the east-northeast at 21 kilometers per hour. General conditions fair with slight haze. Sea conditions in Barbados for today: smooth to moderate in open water, with swells peaking at 2 meters and increasing. Be careful as you head out for your sea baths. And here's a look at how the tides roll in today. General conditions in Barbados, here's what you can expect. Mostly fair at first, becoming increasingly cloudy to overcast at times, with occasional intermittent scattered light to moderate showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms by midday. As we move into the evening period, you can expect mostly cloudy to overcast conditions, with the occasional intermittent scattered light to moderate shower and very slight chance of isolated thunderstorms. And that's today's weather. That brings the morning report to an end. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 noon on TV8, followed by The World at 1 on our radio network of stations. Morning Barbados is next.
Wake up! Wake Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed. So good to have you on this Monday, July 24th. Is the morning after the night and weekend before. I know you had lots happening this weekend as Cropover has really kicked into high gear. There's lots happening. So welcome. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning. And boy, we have a show planned for you. We're going to have a good day today. There's lots to pack into the next hour and a half. So we're going to try to get through it in a way that you can follow, love, and understand. A very special good morning to those of you who are off on holiday. That means the little ones, the teachers. I certainly hope you're having a great day already. Maybe you're still in bed. You know, that's good for you. Maybe you're on vacation or you're retired. Whatever you're doing, have a good one. Welcome to those of you who are here for the Cropover Festival as well. It's good to have you in company. So we were up late last night waiting for the results for the Pickety Crop competition, and I have those results for you. So I'm going to share them with you right now. So, drum roll, somebody. No drums. So, a tie in 17th place resulted in 18 finalists being named this morning following the judging of the final 10, the big show at Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Centre. This means there will be no reserve, and the finals will see a total of 19 contestants on stage. Following are the finalists for the competition to face Calypso Monarch Kwan in the Courtesy Garage Pickety Crop competition on Friday, August 4th. The results were tabulated by auditors PricewaterhouseCoopers. From the All-Stars Calypso tent, Charisma, Donella, Eric Lewis, John Yard, Nika, Terry. From the Big Show, AC, Crystal, iWeb, Mr. Blood, Natalie. From House of Soca, Billboard, Kupadan, Kira, Renan, Raheem. From Shining Stars, Bumba, and Ross. So there you have it. Your 19 who will face King Kwan on August 4th at the Courtesy Garage Pickety Crop Finals. Very interesting. So, of course, 18 finalists will go forward to meet the champion, the reigning champion, because of a tie for 17th spot. Congratulations to everyone. We'll repeat this a little later on in the show, but of course you can go to the NCF's website for more information. Congratulations to those of you who have made it to this rung of the competition, so to speak. I know there's a lot of effort that goes into preparing, and this is where the real action truly begins. So ironically, we have Eric Lewis coming in a little bit later this morning. So it's going to be good to talk to Eric now that he is back in competition at this level. I think it's been quite some time since he's been in competition at this level. So it will be great to share with him. So today we are taking a look at many things. We're going to update you on what will be happening as we go on. But we're starting things off again. Russell Mosley is with us. He's a counseling psychologist, and he's with Supreme Counseling for Personal Development. And we thought it was really important, after starting the conversation on how you really start looking at mental health and wellness, and just checking in on the people around you, the people you love, and so on, to talk about the importance of promoting positive mental health in the workplace. So good to have you back with us this morning, Russell.
Good to be back.
Yes. All right. So this whole issue of promoting positive mental health in the workplace, where does it start?
So I think it starts with the head of the organization, but also it really is a matter of making things very open for communication, and there's also a lot of legislation that is actually in place, and more that could probably be put into place to really ensure that the people who are working are getting a really good work-life balance. They feel comfortable to share at work as well. I think it's important at work that you have that environment that you can share with your colleagues, you can share with the boss, HR, whatever, if you're going through any struggles, but also having things in place so that you can also prevent those specific struggles from actually happening.
What can workplaces do at a time like this where there's so much going on? Yes, checking in and making sure that people are comfortable while they're there, but where does their responsibility stop and people's other responsibilities begin? We hear so many people talk about separating home and work life, but it's not often something that you can easily do. There are so many people who take home their work problems and vice versa. So, where does HR come in? Where do they fall in? Or some organizations the names have changed. So it's now talent management or talent acquisition, things of that nature. Where do they come in?
So I guess I'll kind of go through the process a little bit. So what would be important, I think, for works to have, for jobs to have and businesses, is to have, encouraging the conversation, first of all, encouraging, like doing mental health workshops and so on, kind of letting people get aware of basically that, there's no shame in seeking out mental health, and it's actually kind of encouraged, because not only is it crisis management, but again, it's also preventing crisis and preventing people from being overwhelmed. Obviously, it's important, I think, that it helps the company itself to have workers who are doing well, and so it is very important to encourage the workers. But a step past from that is that it's very difficult, I think, for some people. They'll hear all of this and they still won't go and seek help. And I think even some companies have things in place where they even sometimes pay for psychological services, and again, those are opportunities that they can use. But the more this is spoken about, the more it's discussed, I think the more likely people are to use the things that are available to them, but also showing that it's not just for something that is going wrong. It's like, okay, well, this is something that we can all do. And so having even social retreats and things that you do together, but also having the opportunity where they say, okay, well, you have almost maybe even a mandatory session where it's like, okay, well, you just have an introductory session with a psychologist or whatever, hopefully if it's possible paid for by the employee, but just to get it started, to show that, okay, well, it's not that scary, it's not something to be afraid of, and it's something that any and everybody can do, it doesn't matter if you're actually mentally ill or if you think that you're coping really, really well. That's fine, you can still go and get a checkup. Just like, you don't have to be injured to go and get a massage, and you don't have to be necessarily sick to go to the doctor and get a checkup. It's the same thing.
What are some of the common signs that workplaces or people generally should look out for people in the workplace when it comes to mental health? So
either seeing people becoming more withdrawn, if you see people start kind of isolating themselves, kind of not talking, kind of being kind of in their own corner, if you can see that their hours are really, really high and their job requirements are really, really heavy, then again, these are things that you want to make sure that you check in with those people. Also, if you see any kind of behavior change whatsoever, even if they become even more bubbly or more excited or more happy than normal, or seemingly more happy than normal, this is something that that you can really identify and say, okay, well, what's going on, like how are things, and making sure that when you're asking in a very private setting and ensuring confidentiality, so that if they do want to share, that they are able to and feel comfortable to do so.
I know that a big part of that can be stigma and discrimination. Even if people come forward or there are incidents in the workplace where people know of others who are having mental health challenges, they often can't get past that because the other people in the workplace tend to, treat them differently, look at them differently. What would be your advice for employers and employees equally to be able to kind of stave off the levels of stigma and discrimination that have been crippling people generally over the years?
Well, one of the cornerstones in psychology is confidentiality. And I think if people in the workplace know about other people's illnesses or mental health issues, it's like it doesn't provide a good environment for people to want to share. And so you would want to take every opportunity and every step that you could to ensure that other people's personal lives do not get brought into it, other people's mental illnesses, other people's challenges. And so you want to create that environment where they do feel comfortable to share and create an environment of confidentiality. And similarly saying that, okay, well, if I'm going to see a therapist, again, it doesn't mean that I'm mentally ill. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong. It's just, okay, well, I want to go and get a checkup. I want to make sure that I'm still functioning on my optimal level for myself, for my loved ones, and for the company as well. And it's not even just that, but the idea that when you are working, I mean, obviously this is very important for the company. It's very important for the individual that you are able to function. And so to me, I mean, I know it's easy to kind of get that stigma and that shame and that feeling of, okay, well, people are going to look at me and treat me differently. But, it's still one of those things where, it happens to everyone. Mental wellness is a part of every human being. And so it's not kind of, well, this is your issue and not mine. It's an everybody issue. It's something for everyone to kind of look at and think about to make sure that they're doing okay.
These days, some of the basic things that we expect should be in place in the basic execution of our duties are being challenged. Everything from safety to privacy, like you said, because of the advent of where we are technologically, and in some instances, even crime. What can workplaces do to try to navigate these waters? Because I would imagine as employers that can be challenging.
Yeah, I can imagine it would be extremely challenging. And again, having discourse with your employees, because a lot of the time, like an employee might have an idea as to, okay, well, what could be done better in this particular instance, but sometimes employers might not either have the time to hear them, might not want to hear them, might not want to change, because they feel like, okay, well, what they've been doing so far has been working. And so, but I think it's still definitely important to have those discussions with the employees, see if there are any ideas that come up, and see if there are innovative, creative ways in which they can come up with plans to ensure that you're not at the risk of some of those things that you mentioned.
What about work-life balance and really getting to a place where people feel like they're comfortable with both? Is that pie in the sky? If I'm totally honest, for me it really has been for quite some time. I know people say that it is possible to do both and be satisfied in both, but from my experience, something has to give. And at sometimes it's home life, at other times it's work life. So how do you move towards striking that balance?
So again, that's a very, very important topic, and one of the ones that I see in my practice quite a lot, which is where it just does not balance out. And oftentimes what happens is you get your best hours at work, and your not so good hours or your tired hours, weary hours at home, and it's not sustainable, right? And either one really is not sustainable, and so you really want to make sure that, okay, well, like, your employees say, okay, well, you know, you have a life outside of work. Sometimes some jobs are extremely demanding time-wise, and so like finding structures, finding any kind of scheduling or anything that can help you to say, okay, well, look, we're gonna spend time with your family, do social outings, all these different kind of interactions, encouraging hobbies, encouraging, you know, active downtime. And when I say active downtime, I mean like time that is yours for your own personal self, because it's so easy to get lost and not have that personal time, because like, okay, so you might be working and then you might have a dependent at home, and so you go from one work to another set of work, and so you're constantly doing all this work and there's no time for the individual. And the truth is that you can always, I think, find time, but you do have to have some kind of give and take, and you have to kind of sometimes push some things.
Yeah.
And
you definitely have to plan.
Yeah.
All right, Russell, I'm going to ask you to stay with us for a little bit, because oftentimes when we think about workplaces, we think about, you know, people sitting behind a cubicle or in an office, but there are workplaces all over. And in the last couple of weeks here in Barbados, we saw somebody's workspace being, a couple days actually, invaded in a way that no one wants to experience. We're talking about an incident that happened on a public service vehicle, and we have the driver with us this morning. He's going to join us on set to talk a little bit about that experience and look at the ways that we can move forward from this positively. I know there have been many interviews and there's a lot of talk, especially on social media, but let's have a conversation. It's time for a conversation on some of the true impacts and how we can learn from this and do better. That's next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning and welcome back to Morning Barbados. On this Monday, we're well into July. I had to think about that for a moment because there's so much happening. But I know you saw that video that was going around on social media. It still is. People are coming up with all types of memes and stuff like that. And once we get past the smiles and the laughing, there's some serious business going on there. Thank goodness there wasn't loss of life. So we have to say a special good morning and thank you to Marlon Tempro, who is that public service vehicle driver who joins us on set this morning. Of course, counseling psychologist Russell is still with us. Good morning and welcome.
A blessed good morning to us. Well, thanks for having me.
All right. I certainly hope I'm not taking you away from your passengers for too long, but amidst the recent incident, you know, we must first express our admiration.
Yes, please.
For your courageous response during the attempted robbery that happened a few days ago. So could you please share with us, you know, what motivated you to fight back in that way? In that moment, did you even think about a response?
Well, let's start off with saying, give God thanks we're here this morning, honestly, for sure. And that, the whole scenario, what really kicks in was survival mode, right? Survival mode. And also the intentions of, like, after working a whole day and, you know, to this, roll over and play dead, it wasn't going to happen that way, to be honest.
How has your life changed since that day? I know you're all over and everybody wants to talk to you, and now people are calling you names like Van Wyck for people who know. But you know, this is serious business. We're talking about your life.
Yes, definitely. I do appreciate that question. Honestly, right, is that I can't go nowhere now. They know the van, they know me. Everywhere I go is positive response. Let me say that first. And you know, people shouting, guys hollering. It's honestly been a tremendous response.
Have you noticed any changes? I know you interact with numerous passengers every day, and even in an earlier interview you had with CBC's Crystal Hoyt, you talked about how committed you were to getting back on the road because people depend so heavily on you to be able to get to work and to be able to get home. Have you seen a difference in how they perceive you or how they interact with you, the passengers, I mean?
Only from a positive point of view, to be very honest. Only phone calls still coming. Everybody wishing me well. Everybody very happy to have me here in the land of the living. And everything is just been positive so far, to be honest.
A lot of people have hailed you as nothing short of a hero for really just fighting back. And as you mentioned, it really was just survival instinct kicking in. How do you feel about the labels that a lot of people are placing on you?
Forgive me for laughing, but to be honest, honestly, it's mind blowing. It's really mind blowing. It's something that I wasn't looking for, honestly. Something they didn't expect. But you know, it also shows though that there's some real creative people out there. That's the honest truth. There's some real talented business out there when it comes to media producing, editing. It just shows me that business really have talent.
Now, with your newfound media attention, have you considered using your platform, because you now have a very visible platform, to advocate for any issues or causes related to safety for public service vehicles and other people who are in your workspace, because this is your workplace?
Yes, please. Not only on safety of the workplace, what I've been looking at also is trying to use it now in a positive light to show the youth, well, this is the road you don't have to go down. If you got your goals, seek your education. It's also coming up just now. There's going to be some work. Some work is in the future coming up to deal with it from a more positive point of view, as in helping young people and really pursuing the goals, pushing them, encouraging them to know, well, this is not the road to go down.
All right, now I think it's important for you to kind of walk us through exactly what happened, because looking at that video, I can't even imagine what was going through your head at that time. You displayed remarkable resilience and courage and determination in getting to wherever you were going or coming to whatever end you were thinking of. But what was it? Walk us through what was happening, what was going through your mind as it unfolded.
Well, what happened is that because your passengers, who are accustomed to catching you on nights and stuff. And when it comes, a young lady was getting off, And as you see in the video, when I saw a young man behind me who was pretending to be sleeping. And then that's when like one red flag came out there, right? And then when the young man said he going around the corner with the bus stop, and then he said a little further, that was another red flag from there. And then from time I saw the young man, then he tried to pull the gun then, or attempt then to put the gun on me then. Yeah, survival motivating. And then it was just point from there, and it was something like I've also played out in my mind. Like if someone tried to rob me, what we do, like the first hit the brakes, come back up in. But then and then the driving, and then from the time we hear the young man started screaming, holler, right? It was then they sort of built a little more confidence and then, then really involved and looking for the response. I guess, like I said, they wasn't looking for what was going to happen to them instead of happening to me. So, thank God I'm here.
I heard a big sigh when you were telling that story in the middle of it. In your quiet moments, when you think back on or look back at that video, how do you feel? Away from the prying eyes of the media and all the social media and fun and the the names and so on, how does that make you feel as a resident of Barbados, as somebody just trying to make an honest dollar and having to encounter something like this?
Oh. It made me feel, honestly, it made me feel good that, that I was able to come out of it. It made me feel good that I was able to be bold enough to do what I had to do to get home to my family. So it makes me feel, this made me feel relief that honestly it's all over and I'm here today.
Yeah, Russell, I want to bring you in at this time, and this is why we wanted you to stick around, because when we talk about health and safety and wellness, mental health in the workplace, traumatic incidences like these can really impact how people feel about what they do, decisions they make, their work and home life, and them generally. What can we do to get past incidents like this? Because once we're past the fun and jokes, it's important that this gentleman has been able to get home to his family. And this is something that I would imagine will stay with all of them for life.
Yeah, when you see something like this happen, obviously it can be very, very traumatic. It's a very serious thing, and it's something that we've been seeing a lot more in the news. But again, having something so difficult to deal with in your everyday life, just in your job at your workplace is really something that's quite is quite scary. And I think that like when everything settles down, when the dust settles down, you want to say, okay, well, look, you recognize what was really important to you, which was getting home to the family, right? And that really takes the lead. And so then you start thinking, okay, well then what can we do in terms of safety? What can we do in terms of keeping a safe workplace environment? And I think, it really just doesn't go to, okay, well, we get away from this one and then just keep moving forward. I think that things you want to think about, like, what can we put in place? What can we do for the safety of the public service drivers? What can we do for safety even in regular in the workplace? I mean, people might work in a gas station, open very late hours, working in banks. We've heard about robberies at banks. Like, what can we do to take care of their safety? But not only that, what can we do to really reach out to the people who are actually committing these crimes, and say, what can we offer them to kind of turn away from all of this, instead of we shouting and quarreling with everybody, because obviously no one likes it. But when they're doing that, what can we offer them as an alternative to what they're currently doing? I think that's really one of the important changes that we're gonna need to have to look at.
For sure. Your story has undoubtedly inspired many individuals, and sometimes we have a vocal few, but generally this time around, I think Barbadians have been vocal across the board.
Yes, definitely.
Is there any message or advice that you'd like to share with others who may find themselves in similar dangerous situations? Because this, unfortunately, is something, as Russell mentioned, that we're seeing a lot of these days.
Well, to be very honest, if I would encourage anybody to be in that situation, to think about their safety first. Think about their safety first. Don't, honestly, don't go try to be, it may sound strange, but don't go trying to be a hero. But, you know, think about your safety first and think about how you're going to get home. Think about getting home. You know what I'm saying? So what it takes to get home, do what you got to do to get home.
What was the family's response?
Oh gosh, tears. Because on the night the incident happened, I know for sure, we know his family's calling at me at our home 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. His dad's a phone call, his dad won't answer. But when the lady who called the police for me, when my mom answered the phone, I tell her, just tell me, Mom, I'm good. I'm at the police station. Right, because they didn't know nothing about the video or anything. It's only then when they saw the video, my sister said some tears, you know. Friends called me, tell me they started crying, you know, they didn't feel good about it. Sometimes they tell me started hurting them and stuff, and you know, it wasn't a good experience for them to see, this is what my son or my brother or my friend going through.
How do you think things would have been different if there wasn't a camera in that vehicle?
For sure then, I probably won't be here saying I'm talking to you. But things would have been, how should I put it, would have been to get it then for people to believe what you went through. Right? You got to be like telling your story, but as that was, I'm also advocating that it's very important now for not only PSVs but private to get a secret dash cam. You know, implement one in the invest in one, because there's a possibility then it can save your life, it could help someone else behind, it could solve a problem, insurance, whatever, you know. But it's very important then to invest in one. That's how important now that getting on board with technology definitely is.
Yeah. As we move forward from this incident, I don't know when, because I saw some new memes over the weekend.
I saw.
You know, and somebody said to me, there's been a name change on the vehicle. Is that so?
That was just a promotional purpose. And then let's launch the website. Actually, it's that the website. Right, for promotional purposes, and you know, we let's here this weekend. Let's start with a T-shirt printing company, connection center. Shirts looking to come on board just now because, to be very honest with you, everywhere you go, people want shirts. People from Canada, people asking for shirts to send back to the family and stuff. So we just launched a website here with our project, and let's see where it goes from here.
What do you hope comes of this?
Honestly, to be very honest with you, that's positiveness to the youth. That's the honest truth, right? Positiveness to the youth, and also to let young people know that you can become somebody. You don't have to go there try to be a hero to become somebody, but you can become somebody. You understand? Whatever talent you have within you, just use it. Use it.
Yeah. Any final words from you, Russell? Based on this situation, you know, advice on what can be done going forward. People, we heard about how his family was impacted, which is something that kind of stays with you for forever.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, I mean, you don't even have to be family to be impacted by it. I mean, watching that video, I remember seeing, when I saw the video at first, I mean, the entire group chat that had sent the video, we were all like, wow, what is this? It's like, what is Barbados coming to? And all of these things that, you know, everybody is just, you get nervous, and it's like, where you've kind of really get that feeling of being unsafe, and it's spreading to other areas, and you know, we obviously just feeling for Marlon over here, and feeling for the family, because you know that it could be anybody. And as Marlon said, you know, having a dash cam, it doesn't have to be in a public service vehicle, but even in a private vehicle could be the difference between your safety and not. And so I really think that, you know, we really need to look at any ideas. I mean, the dash cam idea obviously is a good idea, but looking at any other ideas of how we can really promote safety, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. That none of this matters if, you know, we're not making it home, right? So that is really the thing that I would like to focus on, and as it relates to mental health, obviously, you know, these things can, as you said, stick around. It's like, and sometimes not for the positive things, but the anxiety that it creates around it for months and years afterwards. And it's like, you know, these are the specific issues that, you know, we deal with in my practice, where it's like, okay, well, working through trauma, working through anxiety, working through fears, and learning how to be brave again and carry on with your life, but also looking to make changes to help keep yourself and your family safe.
Finally, Mr. Temporal,
yes, ma'am.
Has it changed the way that you approach your day-to-day? Working late hours, for example.
Okay, well, to be very honest, it doesn't affect me personally, working late hours, right? But it affects, honestly, my friends and my family, because they don't want me out there. Like, after a certain time, even my mom will call me and ask me what time I'm getting home, right? So it doesn't affect me per se, but to be honest and to have everybody in a more relaxed atmosphere, relaxed mood, relaxed mind, I will try to adjust myself to get off the road a little earlier than normal.
I want to commend you for your bravery and resilience.
I want to thank you.
Because, I mean, it's so important. How you've handled this is just remarkable.
Thank you.
And I think that's what really caught all of our attention. Initially, when I saw it, I said, is this an act?
Someone asked me that.
Because I could not believe that you were so strong in the face of somebody putting a gun in your face and trying to rob you. It just was a remarkable response. And again, we commend you. And, you know, we have to go to where you started. Thank God that it ended the way that it did.
Yes, please.
Yeah? And of course, we have to commend you on the driving skills. I don't know, I might have to play that song, Driving Skill.
Well, driving is something that I just love doing, to be honest with you.
How long have you been a driver?
Well, from 25 years.
25 years?
Yes, please.
Wow.
Yes, please.
And this is what you love to do?
Yes.
This is your career path? This is your whole life?
Yeah, I just love to interact with people. I love giving a good service, to be honest with you. I love making people happy on the van, you know, and making you comfortable. It's just something that I love to do, so that is me.
All right, again, thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
It means the world, and I wish you the very best, and I certainly hope it sets the tone for how people look at the things they do in terms of trying to rob hardworking people from their money and things.
Yes, please.
You know, as Barbadians, this says to us, we're not going to sit down and take it. You know, we're definitely going to fight back, because this is our society.
It is.
So again, thank you so much, Mr. Temporal, for coming in and sharing with us, and thank you for staying on so much,
my
Russell,
pleasure.
as well. Hey, we're going to come back on Morning Barbados. We have lots more to discuss, so stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, it's time for the Eyes Have It. If you've never played, it's simple. All you have to do is guess whose eyes we're sharing with you and then call us up and tell us who it is. I'm going to give you 3 clues, not all at once. We're going to stagger them throughout the show. So these blurry eyes that you're looking at, I don't know if you can guess who they belong to as yet, but this person's musical career started many moons ago at Deacon's Primary School, where he was in a group called the Twiddlebugs. That's funny. He was in a group called the Twiddlebugs at Deacon's Primary School many years ago, and that's where his musical career started. Do you think you can guess whose eyes these are? The Eyes Have It. So we definitely have some clues coming your way a little bit later, so you should stick around. I don't know if you can guess who that person is as yet. You must know about Deacon School deeply or intimately. You must know that story to be able to guess at this point. But hopefully you'll be able to call up a few friends and get it right. Okay, we're joined on set now by Margaret Grant, who is an author and director of Camp Transition. And we're going to be talking a lot about a book that she co-authored, Entering Secondary School, a survival kit for students with helpful tips for parents. And, you know, it is so much more. It's been revised over the years. I've been trying to catch up, but it's been around for a while. And we often talk about how we can help the little ones transition from primary into secondary school. This is a good start. So good morning and welcome.
Thank you so much. Good morning again.
All right.
Yes.
Now let's start at the very beginning and go back to, you know, getting the book down on paper, so to speak, because we often talk about it, but what gave you that extra nudge to want to write a book to help us along?
Okay, one day I was at school. It was during the holiday. I went to school to fix my room, and I didn't plan to stay long, so I did not carry any lunch with me. So, but then I stayed longer than expected, and I went down to the home economics room to get some ginger tea. And there I met another lady who was being introduced to me, and she was like, I know you. And she said, well, why don't you come to my school and do this orientation program that you do at the St. Michael's School? And she knew about my program. I said, but you have a guidance counselor there. I'm sure you do orientation as well. But she said, I like yours. And then she went on to say, why don't you write about it? And that was never in my mind. But she said, if you don't write about it, I will write about it. So that triggered me to think, well, if it is my thought and she can write about it, why can't I think about it too? So I thought about writing it, and that is where it all started actually. And the thing is, I had all the information there because there were like worksheets and different things that I would be using in my orientation program. And then I asked my friend Shantia if she would be willing to join me, and she said yes. So we put all our thoughts together, and the book was born. This was in 2009, and then in 2016 we did a revision, added some more chapters as well.
What are some of the major areas that you cover within the book?
Okay, we do recognize that transition is critical. I think many times it is underscored, and we look at emotions. How do you deal with your feelings of moving from one institution to another one? An institution where you were so versed, you were so familiar with it, and now you have to uproot, so to speak, and go into a new setting altogether. So we look at feelings because I think sometimes We put a lot of emphasis on the fact that a child is moving from one institution to another, getting new uniforms, new books, etc. But how is that child really feeling about leaving their old schools? How is that child really feeling about being separated from their friends? How is that child really feeling about going into a new place altogether that they have no idea what to expect? So we look at feelings. How do you say farewell to those who you're leaving? How do you actually break ties? And that is one of the most important things, breaking ties. And once you have broken those ties emotionally with your past school, then you can embrace the new school. And when you're looking at embracing the new school, you're looking at the new motto, the new school sound, the new crest, the new teachers, the whole new system, all the newness that comes with going into this new institution. We look at all of that, and we get children to really go through it bit by bit, so that they're actually absorbing the changes as they unravel. And then one of the major things I think that is really critical is looking at the similarities and differences between the two. Because if children can understand, and parents as well, if they can understand the many differences that children have to go through, then they get to really understand some of the behaviors that they might be seeing. So for example, a child who was accustomed walking to school might now have to catch a bus or two in a new parish that they've never ventured into. So a simple thing like that, not getting school meals anymore, now having to either bring their own lunch from home or buy from the canteen. Yes, the fact that they were the most senior student, and now they're the most junior, and I always tell them they're like the babies in Pampers. Okay, and that can be very overwhelming for some children, where they were popular, they were known, you know, and now they're coming to a new setting where nobody even sees them, they feel invisible. Okay, so those are some of the things that we really look at, and it boils down to the whole emotional content.
And I know that you offer varying perspectives, because it truly is a guide for parents and students alike. So for the parents, how did you approach, you know, how you were able to try to help parents in this particular text?
But we did recognize that parents will often talk about their feelings. Some parents might have never had the experience of having a child go into secondary school, and they themselves were anxious, nervous, scared, because they've been hearing, sometimes they hear so many negative things about secondary school that is like, how is my child going to really survive? And the fear and the anxiety that comes with it, it is transferred to the child. And therefore, we need to help the parents first. And I saw that as not only helping the child, but helping the parent so that they can eventually help the child. And then the child can have a better transition process as they come into the new setting.
I have a friend who really struggled with not being able to walk her daughter to class after she went into secondary school, because that's something that she did on a daily basis, and just to be able to maybe even connect with the teacher, not necessarily to have a long conversation, but to kind of that handing over ceremony, so to speak. So when her daughter went to secondary school, where she had to leave her at the front gate, because it's one of those schools that you can't come in the morning, she really struggled with that. So some things that might seem like little things to some are really major things for other people.
It's true, and that is why I really am convinced that an orientation program is important, where you can have other students who are willing to serve as big brothers and big sisters, so that once parents know that when they hand over their child, they are being taken over by caring students. And these are students who would have been at the school for 1 year or more, who will be able to take the child to the classroom, so that there is no one being lost on that first day, and they're able to really connect with them. Especially sometimes you might have a child who is the only child from their primary school. They might be very shy, and they might find it really hard to make friends. Those are the type of children that you need to really hold and cuddle before, you know, so that when they come in, they feel welcome and part of the family.
So let's talk about camp transition.
Okay, camp transition, we created camp transition as, it's like an extension to the book. because we do recognize that children needed the experience. When you think of children who are coming from private schools and going into public secondary schools, that is a whole new world.
Tell me about it.
A whole new world. And they're moving from a small setting to a large setting. They're moving from sometimes a Christian setting to a multi-faith setting, and much more.
From
right?
where they're being coddled
Correct.
to where they're not.
Correct. Yes, and I think that when it comes to camp transition, we really try to embrace all of that. Help the children to recognize that, you know, we try to give them an experience that would prepare them, give them that jump start for secondary school. So at Camp Transition, we look at the feelings, we look at the writing the farewell letters, we look at making friends, how to make a new friend on that new day, how to even adjust to all the differences that you can expect. We even have a day when we simulate the secondary school, so that we have actual teachers who would come in every 40 minutes, as is done at secondary school, and they would teach a subject. So we usually choose English literature, social studies, and mathematics. Okay, and those teachers will come in and actually teach a class so that they can see what the teaching is about and the role that they have to play as students as well.
All right, so where can we get the book? How can we be a part of Camp Transition?
Okay, Camp Transition, if persons can email me at camptransition@gmail.com, we can actually, I can actually send the form to them, the registration form. And this year we are partnering with In the Winner's Circle, and we have one full day when in the Winner's Circle, they will be actually doing their program. So it's going to be life skill based. It's going to be super.
All right.
So they can call me at 265-4598. That's a temporary number, 265-4598, and email camptransition@gmail.com or smoohtransitions.bbig.
All right, I want to thank you, but this is not the last we're going to say of you, Ms. Grant, because we definitely want you to come back and share more about the book as we go through it. And for those people who are not able to make it to the camp, to be able to help parents and students alike transition.
Thank you.
Make that transition.
Definitely.
Again, thank you. All right, so I know you're thinking of a little one or a few little ones that you're thinking, I could probably benefit from this, or maybe it's you as a parent. So we will continue that conversation. The eyes have it and so much more still to come here on Morning Barbados, the Monday edition. Are you awake? I know you've been out all weekend. And plus, we're going to update you on the list of the finalists for the Pick of the Crop, all coming up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Oh yeah, so as promised, let me give you the names of those people moving forward in the Pick of the Crop finals competition. There was a tie for 17th spot after last night's judging. So we now have 18 people facing King Kwan, Charisma, Donella, Eric Lewis, John Yard, Nika, Terry, AC, Crystal, iWeb, Mr. Blood, Natalie, Billboard, Cooper Dan, Kira, Renan, Rahim, Bumba, and Ross. Those are the names of the people moving forward. All Stars, The Big Show, House of Soca taking up the chunk of the spots as usual. And of course, Shining Stars bringing up the rear. Also a part of the top few who will be moving forward to be a part of the Pick of the Crop final, which comes off on August 4th. That's right, Friday, August 4th. That is around the corner. So get ready for that. Of course, we're going to continue to share more about that with you. And we're going to bring it to you live here on TV8 as well. We know you like to get out and be a part of it as well. So we'll share all the information about that for you. So it's the middle of summer, we know that, or the beginning rather. So we of course want to talk to you about the national summer camps that are available for the little ones. Get them into some camps so they can get the minds going and learn some new stuff as they prepare for the new school year. So I want to welcome Senior Youth Commissioner and Program Coordinator of Pathways Employability Program, Miss Elizabeth Boyne, as well as Cherise Catwell, who is Public Relations Consultant with the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Community Empowerment. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Hi, morning. Morning, Barbados.
Good morning. Good to have you both with us. I'm going to start with you, Elizabeth. Talk to us about these summer camps that are opening from today that people all across Barbados will be able to be a part of.
I'm actually here, Tisha. I'm actually here to speak about Camp Employer Minds. I think Cherise will delve into the other areas of summer camp.
But
I'm going
ahead.
to speak to you on our specialized camp, Employer Minds. So here, this is the first time that the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment is offering a specialized camp in the area of teaching young persons employable skills. We're all excited about it because it focuses on personal development for young persons and also life skills. So young persons would be exposed to areas of interpersonal communication, learning to manage social media platforms, looking at a bit of team building, self-esteem building. We are going to have a component of career counseling, resume writing, interview preparation, time management and money management. And that's not all, that's just some of the areas we'll be covering to ensure that young persons are prepared who are on the periphery of maybe looking for jobs in another year or so, or just preparing themselves professionally as part of their professional growth and development.
15 to 17, tell us where it will be held and how people can sign up for it.
Sure, Tisha. We'll be over at the Harold Nurse Resource Center in Friendship Hospital Turning. And as you said, it's from August 2nd to August 25th. You can sign up online. Just go on to pathways.barbados.gov.bb. You can scan the QR code and you can get yourself. If there are any questions or if there are difficulties persons may be encountering, feel free to call us here at 535-3835 and we will certainly walk you through the process.
All right. I know that you mentioned there will be a number of areas that you're going to be covering and looking toward preparing them for the work environment. What are the numbers that you're looking for, just so that we know? Obviously, you're going to have to target to a specific number of people.
We're going to just look at an intimate number of 30 because we want to deliver in a very effective way. This is the first time out, so we would obviously do our monitoring and evaluation or assessment after this rollout to inform us of how we approach this particular specialized camp next time around. In addition, though, Tisha, I want to share with you that I don't want the viewers to believe it's all going to be classroom setting. We're going to have some fun and interactive activities, including video presentations, group presentations.
Oh dear, I think we lost Miss Boyne there for a moment. So we're going to get back to her with talking about all of the other aspects of the camp. And we're going to move on. Miss Boyne, are you back with us?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, there you are. Continue. You were telling us about all of the other fun aspects of the camp.
Yes, I was saying to you, Tisha, that it would not only be about just the classroom activity, but certainly we have a very exciting package which involves video presentations, role play, group presentations, and then Wednesdays are dedicated to the mind and body. So the participants would be exposed to better some exercises. We're going to look at areas of mental health. They'll be doing Zumba, Pilates. So we are going to be exposing them to a well-rounded experience that would enable them not only for preparation for work, but certainly to improve their life skills and assist with their transition, whether they're going back out to school or whether they'll be on the periphery of job seeking.
All right, now, Miss Catwell, we're going to move over to you because you're going to be talking to us about the specialized cultural arts training program that seeks to teach, nurture, and strengthen campers in various performing and visual art skills. Let's hear more about this.
Yes, so in addition to our general camps this year, we're going to be having 14 cultural arts camps across the island as well. I'm going to list out some of the locations for you. Within the southern zone, we have Arthur Smith Primary School. We have St. Martin's Mangrove Primary School, the Chesterfield Brewster Youth Empowerment Center, and the St. Philip West Constituency Office. Those are in the southern zone. In the northern zone, we have Haynesville Police Outpost, Holy Innocents Primary Schools, Allison Primary School, and St. James Primary School. And in the central zone, we have the Ivy Community Center, Eagle Hall Primary School, St. Ambrose Primary School, Wensley Hall Junior School, Golden Rock Resource Center, and Bush Hall Community Center. Now, if you missed any of the names I said there just now, don't worry. You can go to our Instagram page at DaveYouth246 and you can see the full list there later on today. So these cultural arts camps, as you said, Tisha, they're going to be aiming to teach and nurture and strengthen campers in the areas of performing and visual arts. So that's what's going to be taking place at those cultural arts camps. We're going to be exploring areas such as stilt walking, drama, drumming, dance, song, arts and craft, even hair braiding. So it's quite interactive and fun for the children.
All right. Now, I know that some of these camps are targeting specific areas and specific ages. So can we break that down a little bit?
Yes. So within the cultural arts camps, we want kids that are from the age of 4 to up to 14. So that's the age range for the cultural arts camps. The size of the camp really depends on the location of the camp because, you know, some schools are a bit bigger than others. Some are a bit smaller. So the size really depends on the camp and these particular skills that are going to be done at each camp. You can actually get that list on our Instagram page as well. But there are going to be multiple disciplines done at each camp. Like different days, they're going to be having different stuff. So that timetable will be shared with you after you register, so you will know exactly what they'll be doing during the days on the camp.
And there's going to be a very interesting component to your camps as well, as you offer some psychosocial workshops. Talk to me about that.
Yes, so within each of the camps, we're going to be having the psychosocial workshops, and they're going to be focusing on the personal development and assisting in maintaining the well-being, the mental well-being of our campers. You know, mental health or good mental health is very important, especially in this climate. So we want to ensure that all of our campers are well equipped to deal with any issues that may arise. So that's an important component. We're very excited to roll that out this time around. They're also going to be learning teamwork and building positive attitudes and all that. That's going to be integrated within the program. And also teaching our campers how they can apply these situations within their real life coming out of the camp as well. So we're very excited to have that be a part of the camp this year.
Listen, there are particular things that are going to be a part of the camp that I am not going to accept as simply etc. because I think they're truly important. And a lot of people talk about going back to the time of teaching civics and so on in schools, so children really understand and they know how to act and behave and they know about basic everyday things in life. I see that you will be teaching etiquette, teamwork, self-esteem building, and things of this nature. How important do you think this is to be able to get our children to move past just even academia and be able to cope in an everyday life setting moving into school?
Well, it's very important, and we can see in this climate that we're in right now is even more so important. So we want to ensure that our children have that foundation, especially those that may be moving from primary school into secondary school. It's a whole new environment for them. We want to ensure that they have the right mental capacity and mental space to deal with this big new change that's happening. So yeah, it's very important, and we, in addition to doing this within the camps, we also had a project called the Moving On Project, which delved deeper into helping primary school students transition into secondary school as well. So this is something that the ministry is very keen on, and ensuring that our children that they have the best that they can have.
All right, wonderful stuff. It sounds like we're working toward building holistic situations to help our young people. So thank you so much, Sharice Catwell. And of course, thank you to Elizabeth Boyne for sharing with us. Any final words you'd like to share, Miss Boyne?
Yes, I just want to say that for persons registering and their parents, you can expect a very exciting time, because we have a cadre of professional, a lot of them are human resource officers who would be interacting with them, and it would be a well-supervised camp. Or team from the employability unit here at the ministry will be on board to ensure that all of their needs are attended to. So thank you so much.
And final words for you, Ms. Catwell.
Yes, I just want to speak a little bit about the registration process. So you can actually access the registration form online on our Instagram page at DivYouth246. And you can click the link in our bio and download the form. So you're going to download the form, fill out the form, and then email the form to ydp@barbados.gov.bb. If that is a bit too technical for some persons, you can actually pick up the form in person at the ministry's office in Sky Mall, Haggett Hall. You can fill out the form and leave it right there, or you can also take the form to one of the camp locations as well.
All right, thank you, ladies, for sharing with us. And it's really great to hear that we have these national summer camps going on for children all across Barbados. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
And you, we most certainly will continue to share with you. Coming up, the eyes have it. Get close to your phone lines, or maybe we're also going to tell you about activities for UWI's 60th anniversary. What's coming up for them with that? And we have some visitors in the house. That's next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 19 minutes to go before 8 o'clock. It's time for another edition of The Eyes Have It. We're going to give you another peek at those eyes and see if you know who they belong to. All right, so show me those eyes. I gave you clue number 1 already. Here is clue number 2. These eyes belong to someone who's not only a singer, but he also plays table tennis. Like, this is so hard. Those could be Super Grover's eyes. they're cut so close. I can't tell. I can't tell. But maybe you can. Get close to your phone lines, 228-5562 or 228-5563. I'll tell you exactly when you can call to try to answer. Well, you know, it is Cropover, and we have to be a part of what's happening on the outside. It was a long weekend. There was lots happening, but the weekend culminated with an announcement this morning just after 2 a.m. Let's get as dramatic as we can, because they most certainly are. We have with us in studio Eric Lewis and Keith Brown, a.k.a. PC Brooms.
Good morning, Tisha. Good morning, man. That's what happening. Hold up.
It's good to have you with us. You've been busy these days, PC.
Very busy, man. Busy. It's Cropover.
Busy as a bee?
Yes.
And of course, congrats are in order for you, Eric. You made it to the finals of the Pickety Crop competition.
Yeah!
Hi, good morning, everybody, and thank you very much.
It's been a while since we've seen you in this competition, so I'm happy to see you making it to the finals.
Yeah, I was there last year, I think, last year, and then in 2019. I went in 2019 as the grand character, then I went last year as Brody First, and now this year I'm going as myself, so I have a record.
That's why I said it's been a while since we've seen you.
Yeah.
It's the luck of the draw. You have to wait to see who we get. But you guys are here this morning to talk to us about one of those shows that we've come to know and love and expect at Cropover time, Bacchanal time, versus the
Presents the best of Cropover.
Correct.
No versus?
No, we don't have versus the body anymore. We just present the best of.
Yeah, the best of the best.
The best of the best.
The best of the best, man.
All right, PC, how are you shaping up? Are you in charge of security?
Everything. Yeah, security, yes, correct, man. Everything can be good. This can be safe, Tisha. This can be the Swedish show for Cropover. You can see some of everything. This is like a cobbler pot. This is real cobbler pot of Cropover.
Okay, so this is the remix of Cobbler Pot.
Yeah, exactly. We got comedy up in there. We got the social commentary in there. We got soca music up in there. It can be sweet, Tisha, man.
Yeah, Eric, delving a little bit more. The PC is glossing over.
Yeah. Of course. when you talk about Bacchanal time presents the best of Cropover, if you remember, our last show was in 2019. Then we had something called COVID, which came in, and we had to take a little sabbatical. So now we are back. So this year you could expect to see on the cards. When you look at the social commentary element from the people who made the Pickety Crop finals, we have Terry.
Right.
We have iWeb.
Yes.
We have Adrian Clark.
He there too.
And you have myself.
We got all them. What tell you?
And how it goes, within the last 25 years, 27, 28 years of Bacchanal time, presents the best. The Calypso Monarch has always appeared on that particular show.
Correct.
So chances are the Calypso Monarch will come from one of those 4 persons.
So come to Bacchanal time. Wednesday, August 2nd at the Garfield Store Gymnasium, man.
And of course, we also have a strong comedy lineup because we came with a comedy, as you know.
Correct.
So we always have appreciation for comedy. So on Bacchanal time presents Best of Cropover, you will find Laugh It Off, and their repertoire speaks for itself.
Exactly.
You have Rum and Coke, man, who have been touring the Caribbean and North America. You have Jennifer Walker and Double Laughs.
Double Laughs.
Of course, you have Mad and Queen Archibald. KB Clean is your MC. And we have perhaps the biggest song for Cropover, which came out of the blue in the last 2 years and just ballooned up in the air. I Want My Mother.
I Want My Mother. You didn't expect I want to teach you. You didn't expect that last thing, huh? Jump it on them.
Yeah, nobody saw that one coming. And that has been receiving tremendous support out there.
Correct.
In terms of people saying they're going to win Road March and this is the song for the festival. So you can expect to see Mad perform that song in only the way that we can perform that song. There's nobody in Barbados that can perform that song like Mad.
We had Mr. Tempro here a little bit earlier this morning.
There's on.
Yeah, I know that you had him on in another space as well. So
he be right up front there, man. You can some VIP tickets. You can sit on there, put up your foot.
Don't do that. Can't joke the front.
He be there though.
Yeah.
He be back on that time, relaxing and enjoying himself, man.
And of course, when you look at back in that time, you know, we started in like 1995, and there are some people who have grown with us and who have traveled and gone overseas to live, but a lot of them come back here for Cropover, and they are familiar with the old names too. Like, so we can have like the Mighty Gabbies going on this year, Griner, Red Plastic Bag, Rasaili. Of course, you can't do these kind of shows without having Edwin on it, so Edwin is going to be there. And then you have the younger generation, the hyper songs, the Grateful Core, you know, the sweet singing people, Big Airways up in there. So you can get a mixture of everything. And when you leave that show, you're going to be well satisfied.
It truly is the best of Cropover.
It is the best
it's
of
coming up
Cropover.
on Wednesday the 2nd. Tell me where we can get our tickets. We need to get the tickets in the early.
You need to get tickets.
CF Pharmacy Bridgetown. You could go to Eddie's Inspect Song, you know, people at North, we got there for them. Then we got the Surf Shop in Sheridan Center, the Surf Shop in W Road in Sky Mall. Then got tickets down there too. And all Mark Auto Spears, you know what Mark Auto Spears? Number one! Auto Spears in Barbados. Right? And then we now got the Lucky Horse Show. Warrens, Worthing, and Bridgetown.
Only $70 right now.
Only $70.
Only $70.
Oh my goodness! So if you didn't get to catch anything at all, you know, this is the best bet.
This is the best bet.
You know,
Can't go wrong.
If you weren't tipsy, or any of the other things that happened, you missed all of that. You can catch up on all of that.
And get to sit down in air conditioned comfort.
Yeah, see. Exactly.
And if you want to get up a party, of course, we got the space that you can get up a party. You don't have to worry about parking on the car road. You don't have to worry about your rain falling and you're walking through mud and that kind of thing. It is the show for the season.
I love it, especially for people who might not want to, like you mentioned, be on the outdoors and wait all night. Because we know at the fete, it's a different story. You're going to see the acts, but you have to wait for a minute. Yes, as they set up and the DJ set up and this and that.
And then the rain come down.
So this definitely is the place to be. PC, are you going to be guarding the box offices? What's your role this time around?
I've guarded everything. I know. Just make sure boys safe. Safe.
Yeah.
You know what? That's that real back in our time, man. Everybody, this is the safest event for Cropover too.
It is the safest event for Cropover.
Yeah.
Can we expect some of the classics from you guys as well?
Of course. Mad will be doing some of the all-time favorites. You know, we got to do.
We celebrated 40 years, Tisha.
Yeah.
We didn't tell out there, but we celebrated 40 years. This year.
Yeah. So you could expect to see.
40 days.
You could expect to see us doing songs like Mad Revival and last Saturday Night and some of the old favorites. Some of the old favorites. You will see them when you get there.
For sure. That's excellent. So only $70 now. $70 now.
Yes.
Patricia Brent says, Bajans surely know how to make you laugh. Good morning to you, Patricia. Good to have you in company. Those are our Facebook people who are always online and streaming and who absolutely love Matt. I'm sure that you guys will have a few people who are going to put in, you know, the songs that they want you to absolutely perform as well. So $70 right now. Make sure you get them. Box offices, CS Pharmacy, Bridgetown, Empowered Sky Mall, Eddie Supermarket, Spicetown. All locations of Mark's Auto Spares,
Surf Shop,
Sheraton.
You missed that part, PC Broom. You're supposed to be number one.
Sorry. Early morning.
Auto Spares in Barbados, Lucky Horseshoe, Warrens, Worthing, and Bridgetown. And there's reserved seating. For $100. That's the people who want special seating. Want to get there late and sit down up front.
Exactly.
Well, you have to pay for that.
You got to pay for that. $100 go to CS Pharmacy in Bridgetown or the Surf Shop Sheridan and Sky Mall. You get the tickets.
All right, I want to thank you both for coming in. PC Brooms, it's always good to see you.
Yes, you do.
When Eric was talking a minute ago about, you know, blowing up, I knew exactly what he meant. Yeah,
Okay.
Definitely.
Don't forget, and people normally do deliveries, so if you can't get to the box offices, you can message me, 231-4259, 231-4259. Get your groups from at work, from schools, from your families or whatever, and rather than everybody line up one place, message me and bring the 10, 15, 20, 30 tickets to your workplace or your home or whatever. Easy.
All right, that's excellent. Eric Lewis, again, congrats on making the finals.
Thank you. God be the all-stars for it protection. Yeah.
All right, so get out and represent Bacchanal Time presents the best of Cropover.
The best of the best.
The best of the best.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, they're gone.
Good to have you with us. I know you have to get out on the streets.
Yeah, I got work to do.
And do some work. In those slippers though, sir?
Man, I stamp my toe, man. My foot swell up real big. You can't put on shoes. Sorry.
We're going to take a break and come back.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning to you.
All right, so definitely lots happening all this week and into next week as we get ready to wind up Cropover for 2023. Can you believe that? Wind up or wind down, whichever it is. I know you make the best of it because Bajans do both. All right, so it's time for us to tell you all about the University of the West Indies 60th anniversary celebrations. There are a number of activities that will be happening. Today we're going to tell you about the hike and bus tour. On that note, let's welcome Henderson Carter and Gerard Prescott to tell us more. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I saw you off to the side laughing at
my two friends.
Absolutely. PC Brooms, definitely a character. They're celebrating 40 years. You're celebrating 60 years at Cave Hill, and there are a number of activities, but I love that you're having this hike and bus tour. Tell us more.
Well, this 60th anniversary event is a very exciting one, and we've been having some very good times. And coming up this weekend really, we have two important activities. We have the hike, the parish hike, in the lovely parish of St. Andrew in a place called Bordens, and Gerard is going to tell you a bit more about that. And then on the 1st of August, we have our 60th anniversary bus tour, and that bus tour takes us to some beautiful places. It's an emancipation bus tour, and we are celebrating Emancipation Day. So we'll be going to places like the Blackwood Screw Dock, which is our only remaining screw dock in the world really of that kind. We'll be going into the country at the historic Codgerton College, Gun Hill Signal Station. We'll be going to Hackleton's Cliff, and we're asking patrons to come and bring their lunch, meet with us at the university at 10 o'clock. It is only $60, but come and hear stories about emancipation, stories of the Screw Dock, stories of Gun Hill and the Signal Station, stories of the Lion, stories of Hackleton's Cliff, because we'll be having historians on board telling the stories, giving the information, and truly celebrating emancipation.
All right, so that's August 1st, and that, of course, is the bus tour, the historic bus tour.
Yes.
Which gives us a bit of a throwback to excursions. I still remember.
Yes.
You know, when you talk about the picnic baskets, I remember getting up early and cooking, and you know, we had everything in those baskets, from wine to iodine. But of course, on Sunday, 30th of July, is going to be the hike, and we have the boss hiker with us, our main hiker, Gerard Prescott. Tell us more about what will be going down in St. Andrew.
Yeah, so Sunday evening, 3:30 p.m. sharp, the 7th of our 11 parish hikes comes off at the Bordens Aquaculture Pond. Me and Dr. Carter was talking, and it's good for people to get out and experience the outdoors, because we're talking about mental health and mental wellness. And getting out in the outdoors and seeing Barbados from a different perspective can help relax and relieve stress. So I'm going to take the folks from Bordens all up to what we call the Coconut Path, down through the bottom of Turner's Hall, mostly trail and streams. And then, so we have a stop and stare and a fast medium. The stop and stare will turn and go back along the renewed Borden Bridge that was broken down. And I love to go through bush, so my group will go further up the hill into the bush, see some more sights. You can, from right take them, you see St. Andrew's Parish Church, you can see walkers, you have lovely views. So it take them 7 kilometers, and we go and have an interesting and lovely hike.
Oh, that sounds like a wonderful time. Talk to us about registration.
Yes, the registration is online, and or you can go to the university bookshop and purchase your tickets for both events and get a 60th anniversary t-shirt as well. Or you can call 417-7662. That's our secretariat, and she will give you more information if you call Toyka Fort, the secretariat, if you call 417-7662.
All right, so that's excellent. So lots to take in. So on Sunday, July 30th is the hike, Exploring St. Andrew. And that will be arrival time 2:30 to 3 and starting time 3:30 sharp. So you want to make sure that you get in on that. Then, of course, on Tuesday, the 1st of August, celebrating Emancipation Day for the historic bus tour. And that is going to be from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You must be at UE for 10 a.m. to head on out and explore the country along with the stories that go with it. Make sure that you register by Friday, July 28th at noon. Encourage everybody to get their t-shirts and wear them on the day as well. Thank you so much to Henderson Carter and Gerard Prescott for coming in and sharing with us on this occasion. We certainly will continue to share throughout the week. I want my 60th anniversary shirt for sure, so I'll be heading down to the bookshop. All right, let's see if you can guess 228-5562 or 228-5563. Whose eyes are these? And I'm going to go ahead and give you the final clue this morning. And that final clue is, with him, you can always have a ball and easily get addicted to soca. I think that clue takes it over the top. I know who it is now. Let's see if there's somebody on the telephone line who can answer quickly. You literally have a few seconds. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Barbados.
Yeah, good morning, Tisha. At least I have my cup of tea in the morning.
You do. Can you guess whose eyes these are?
I say Mr. Dale.
It is Mr. Dale. Congratulations. All right. So we have a winner on the first go. I want to thank you so much for sharing with us this morning, spending a little time. It's always great to have you in company. Pediatric care with Dr. Birchwood. We're going to look at the topic, how to keep your child healthy and safe this summer. And Femi Maskell will be in to discuss the topic, preparing special needs students for the common entrance exam. That's all coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados. As you go through your day today, remember to wear your smile and do come on back tomorrow for a whole lot more. Have a great day today. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.